So now knowing what these drugs are, I want to raise the question of why prescribe these drugs? I mean, everyone has to make a decision for themselves or for their child as to whether or not they're going to take these things or not. I also want to acknowledge that many people out there, many people out there, are taking these drugs even though they have not been clinically diagnosed with ADHD. You can imagine why a stimulant, something that would wake you up, make you very alert, focused, and motivated, would be a good treatment for narcolepsy. Adderall also is used to treat ADHD and to treat narcolepsy. Things like Modafinil, also used to treat ADHD and narcolepsy. Nowadays, Adderall is the more typically prescribed drug for ADHD. So what are the differences and similarities between these drugs? That has to do with some of the so-called pharmacokinetics, the rate at which those drugs enter the system and how long they last in the system. And so the dosages could be controlled in a more typical way without going into a lot of tangential detail. These are some of the pharmacokinetics, kinetics meaning movement of the different compounds within the bloodstream and brain that you could imagine in a very real way would impact whether or not someone would feel really good on one of these drugs or whether or not they would feel too anxious or too sleepy and so on. Now, they're not exactly like cocaine or methamphetamine, but they are structurally and chemically very similar, and their net effect in the brain and body is essentially the same, which is to increase dopamine primarily, but also to increase levels of a neuromodulator called epinephrine or norepinephrine, also called noradrenaline and adrenaline. Many people with ADHD achieve excellent relief with these drugs. Not all of them, but many of them do, especially if these treatments are started early in life.